how you read a book.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. My movie in my head was somewhat darker.
Okay.
And not a bad movie in my head, by the way.
Did you see, when you were picturing the movie in your head, did you put yourself in all of the roles? Did this make the sort of vampire genre a little bit closer to home for you, or is it something you sort of always were interested in?
I mean, it wasn't so much, Cry Little Sister was really about, I mean, first of all, the vampire is a lonely character in himself, so that character of David was, as much as he was rebel without a cause / just coolest vampire on the planet, I always felt that there was a bit of pain and loss in him. And it's interesting, when Kiefer said that to me later on, he said, I felt that, even though it didn't display that. And I thought, wow, how interesting, that underlying thing. Because I felt that, and I thought, well, I wanted to make it about David and Michael.
Right.
And Dave, as much as David had this longing to, come out of the dark, but he can't, Michael was lost as well, because here he was, single mom, out there, teenager, or late teens, if you will, supposed to be, coming to a new town, not knowing how he's going to fit in. And then there's Star, which she basically is the trilogy of the three of them. And I thought, okay, what I've written melodically is a very, seductive, sexual, sensual piece of music. So the lyric had to really encompass all of them. Right. But had to really key in on that trilogy of David, Michael, and Star, and the volume of who's going to win.
The line that has always stuck out to me that I said, not that I ever thought I'd get the chance to hang out with you and chat with you about all this, was the line, "Blind boys don't lie." Who's the blind one in that trilogy then? Because I was always equating that to, if you can't see the sort of facade that's going on, you can't participate in it. That would be a certain level of truth.
I always say, leave it up to the listener to make their own interpretation of it. But if you really need to know, David, in my head, it was basically the world of vampires. They are blind, in a certain way, and because of their immortal factor, there's nothing, there's nothing to be dishonest about. They're just, they really speak what they are. And the Blind Boys is about youth. Really, it's youth. Youth is like being youthful anyway. You think you're immortal. You think there's no end. And, I certainly remember, I'm sure you and everybody else remembers what those 20s were like, and earlier. I still haven't grown out of it, but that's all right. It's a vampire in me.
And there you go. And now you're taking that, channeling it out to this new project that is going to be hitting the stage. It seems like the momentum is building for a sort of revisit to Santa Carla and this sort of mode. But
it's true.
How hard has this all been as far as the converting it to a musical format? And why did you wind up calling it a Lost Boys story? Was there ever any sort of feeling of maybe making it a little bit more removed and closer to sort of your original darker vision, or is that what this is?
No, it's because it is a Lost Boys story. It's about David's journey into his vampirism, and it's not just David's story, but it's all the boys' story, including Michael and Sam as well. I mean, Sam's character is still funny and very youthful, but they are, they got a single mom in the musical, is kind of lost, doesn't know how to handle two young boys, on her own with Grandpa, who's a great character in the musical. And
it's a great sandbox to be able to play in, with all these different figures and toys.
But the important thing is you have to bring them together properly. You could find yourself being very scattered with all these characters.
Sure.
And that's the thing that I've been really conscious of, and my producers have been great objectives as to what it shouldn't be. And we took a great deal of time thinking about what elements of what we know vampires to be are important and what we don't want to do. It's that thing of way too much blood spilling, all that dramatic stuff. That can happen at its time, but it's got to theatrically make sense to all the technical things that we will do at the stage.
Right.
And as opposed to being, okay, we're going to bite somebody on the neck now.
But blood just comes spewing across from off stage.
And I want it to be interactive. Because I can't get into that, but it's going to be a bit audience participation a couple of times.
And there's sort of
That's what I loved about Rocky Horror.
yeah, I was gonna say it has a little bit of that feel.
There's
to
a bit
it.
of that going on too.